Whoopi Goldberg visibly disturbed after legal note is read on The View. Now they know these are bogus. This is a bogus indictment. There's no crime here. They know this. That's why she was visibly disturbed. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store where I have I Will Not Comply t-shirts. So check those out as well. All right, let's talk about this news. The hosts of the ABC talk show The View were celebrating the indictment of former President Donald Trump until they were faced with reality. Not only is the case weak, not only did Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg not present any underlying crime, not only are there serious questions about the statute of limitations, but there is even a question of Bragg having jurisdiction to bring the case. And that was one of my arguments. He's a Manhattan DA. I mean, not a state DA. But which is why on Wednesday, the day after the indictment, there were not as much celebrating for the hosts. Quote, yesterday, who made the trip downtown to a Manhattan courthouse to face justice, host Whoopi Goldberg said at the start of the show. But she was visibly disappointed when co host Sonny Holston had to read a legal note from the Trump team. Quote, I have a legal note. Trump has pleaded not guilty and denied any criminal wrongdoing and said he never had an affair with Stormy Daniels or Karen McDougal, she said. Quote, I'm not saying a thing, an annoyed Goldberg said. As for the case against Trump and the district attorney who brought it, things are not looking too bright. The Republican led House Judiciary Committee is, quote, seriously weighing issuing subpoenas for Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and two prosecutors who resigned from his team after former President Donald Trump was indicted and arraigned. The two prosecutors on the team resigned last year when it appeared that Bragg was not going to indict the former president. The resignations came in February 2022 during a month-long freeze in presenting evidence to a grand jury, and some believe it suggests a lack of confidence in the case by District Attorney Alvin Bragg. The New York Times reported quote, the unexpected development came not long after the high stakes inquiry appeared to be gaining momentum and now throws its future into serious doubt. The prosecutors, Kerry R. Dunn and Mark F. Pomerantz, submitted their resignations because the new Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, indicated to them that he had doubts about moving forward with the case against Mr. Trump. The people said Mr. Pomerantz confirmed in a brief interview that he had resigned but declined to elaborate. Mr. Dunn declined to comment. Quote, without Mr. Bragg's commitment to move forward, the prosecutors late last month postponed a plan to question at least one witness before the grand jury. One of the people said they have not questioned any witnesses in front of the grand jury for more than a month, essentially pausing their investigation into whether Mr. Trump inflated the value of his assets to obtain favorable loan terms from banks, the New York Times report added. The Times noted that Bragg has had roadblocks in presenting his case, including not being able to get executives at the Trump organization to testify against Trump. But a year later, the former president was indicted by Bragg in what many Republicans and even some Democrats believe was based on politics than the law. Pomerantz, who donated to former Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign, penned a book on the investigation and his resignation, which laid out the case to charge Trump. This week, Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records in a Manhattan criminal court. Quote, a source familiar told Fox News Digital on Wednesday night that the House Judiciary Committee is, quote, seriously considering issuing subpoenas for Bragg and the two ex prosecutors, Mark Pomerantz, and Carrie Doon to testify before the panel, Fox News said. The House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, has come out swinging in defense of former President Donald Trump and is threatening to defund any government agencies that engage in election interference. During an interview on Fox News, Jordan sounded off on government agencies politically targeting Trump ahead of the 2024 presidential election. Quote, the key is to get the facts on the table. We're doing that with all kinds of issues. We would think agencies have been turned against the very American people they're supposed to serve. So you get the facts on the table, and then you look at legislation. Our job, we're legislators. Our job is to pass legislation, write laws, and pass legislation. So we'll look at that. We control the power of the purse, and that's we're going to have to look at the appropriations process and limit funds going to some of these agencies, particularly the ones engaged in the most egregious behavior, Jordan declared. Quote, so the DOJ and FBI host Muriel Barmaromo asked, yeah, and what I really like, frankly, I like for the government just to stay out of the election process. 2016, they spied on the campaign. 2018, the Mueller investigation. 2020, they suppressed the Hunter Biden story. 2022, they raided his home 91 days before an election. And now in 2024, the 2024 election, the leading candidate for the presidential nomination, they indicted the former president and top candidate who's leading in every poll, Jordan said. And I 1000% agree with them. This is just a way to tarnish President Biden. Everyone knows this. Even people on the left knows this. That's why Whoopi Goldberg gave that stank face during the reading of that statement. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.